All right, let's have a look at a question and we solve it by two methods. This is from Pure Maths 3 for your A level Cambridge exam, right? Pure Maths 3. So, what we do here is a very simple thing. This is from algebra, right? So show that x minus 2 is a factor of this big equation, cubic equation here, right? So we need to check. Now we have two methods. First is the algebraic division and the second is the factor theorem, right? So I'm quickly going to use two of them to show you how to use the two methods. All right. So for algebraic division, to check whether this is the factor or not, you have to simply divide it. Now we will be dividing our long big polynomial, this one, cubic equation, 7x squared 43x plus 42 by this term x minus 2, right? So you're going to divide, and if by the end the remainder is 0, then we would say that yes, it is a factor. So that's what you have to check. Maybe you can pause the video first and try to solve it on your own and try to get the answer. All right, so let's continue. 2x cube, if I need this, I have an x, so we will multiply it with the 2x squared. So it goes here 2x cube. Multiply the same term with the next one, so that's going to be a minus of 2 times 2 is a 4x squared. All right, now we subtract them. Now this is important step. Mostly students miss out on this one, and that's why their next step is wrong. So minus and minus minus makes it a plus. So cancel 7 plus 4, right? So 11x squared, and you get down the next term 43x. Okay, we will take this down later. So you only take down the next term, 11x squared minus 43x. Now, the next term is going to be, I'll use another color so it's easier to look at. I need 11x, right? So for 11x, we take the, the quotient to be 11x. Times it with x, you will get 11x squared. Now, next one is minus 2. So, minus 2 times 11 is a 22x. Clear? So, what we are going to do is we are going to change the sign again. So, this one becomes a minus and minus minus becomes a plus. Cancel, what we are left with is 43, that is a negative 43 and plus 22. So that is a minus of 21. So I'll write it there, minus of 21x. And what we have from above is a 42 plus 42. Clear? So we are going to take the number negative 21 times x to get this thing here, right? So you work with on the basis of what your first terms are. So minus 21. Now, if minus 21 times x, it's minus 21x. And this minus 21 times a minus 2 becomes a plus of uh, 42. And that's it. It's the same value. So if I change the sign, minus times minus will become plus and this one will become a minus. We can cancel both of them. The remainder is 0. So clearly, x minus 2 is one of the factor. But the question is not yet complete. They are asking you to completely factorize all the factors. Now, if this is a cubic equation, it's going to have three factors. So one of the factor we already got. Okay, we proved that this is a factor. So just mention about it here that x minus 2 is a factor. Now you need to find the remaining two factors that you will get from here. This equation, that's a quadratic equation, right? Plus 11x and minus 21. That is a quadratic equation. When you solve this quadratic equation, you can use your calculator to solve this equation. So when you solve that equation, you will get the remaining two factors. So we can simply go to mode Then you can go to equation. You can take the quadratic equation. X is 2, there is 11, then you have a minus 21. So by doing that, we have one of the x value as 3 by 2. So you can write it like the factor here is um, hold on, 2x minus 3, and another factor, what's that? Minus 7. So we will call it x plus 7 as a factor. Okay, so this is how the answer should look like. Okay, that's the answer. All the three factors completely factorized. Okay, let's check with another method, that is what we call the factor theorem. Now, factor theorem is at places very easy to use, also depends on the question. So, in this part, you need to be knowing that the dividend is equal to the divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Okay, now if it is already a factor, then you will have no remainder, as we have already seen here. So before doing this, before the divisor dividend thing, you need to first prove that you need to show that it is a factor. So simply use your equation, but replace the x value with a 2. So x minus 2 equal to 0, x would be a 2. And we will take our equation, we will copy it down here, and we will replace the x with 2. So 2 cube, right, plus 7 2 square minus 43 times the 2 plus 42. Can we check if this one is exactly equal to 0? If it is, then it is a factor. So 2 cube is 8 and 8 2 is a 16 plus 2 square is 4 and 7 4 is a 28 minus 43 times a 2 gets you 86, and there is a plus 42. Simplify and check. You can directly do it, but just to show you, I can do it here. 16 plus 28 minus 86 and then plus 42. 42, and that's a 0. So that's how it works. Okay, so we can say that yes, this x minus 2 is one of the factor. Okay, so you check for yourself. You use the algebraic division, that's longer, to check if that is your factor, but this one took shorter time. Just by substitution, you can get, like, you can prove it that it is a factor. All right. The next thing is you need to factorize completely. So now is the time that we will be using that the dividend is equal to divisor times the quotient. Now there is no need of remainder. Even if you write it, the remainder is 0. Okay. So let's see how it works. Now dividend is this big long equation here, right? This is the portion that we call dividend, and this is what is dividing it. So it is a divisor, and this is the quotient, right? So anyway, in this case, what we are looking for is the quotient that is unknown to us. So dividend, I'll just copy it here, 2x cubed, 7x squared, 43x plus 42. Okay, so that's your dividend, and that is equated to your divisor, that is x minus 2, and this is the quotient that is unknown. And clearly, if this is a cubic equation and I already have one of the x, I need to multiply it with a quadratic to complete the cube, right? If this and this multiply, it will give you a cubic equation, and that's what we are looking for. Now we simply need to find the value of a, b and c, and we will be using comparing the coefficients. So we'll compare the coefficients on both the sides, sorry, factor. Okay, clear. So Next thing is comparing the coefficients. Now I'm just solving for this side, okay? So if we multiply them, the first term is going to be ax cubed, the second term is going to be bx squared, third term is going to be cx, and next one minus 2ax squared. So minus 2ax squared. Then there is going to be minus 2bx, and then there's going to be a minus 2c. Let me move them a little bit. I want them to be corresponding to the x, x, and x squared, x squared. So the last one is 2c. Okay, if I simplify this ahead, you can write it like ax cube bx. Now I'll just factor out the x squared term from here, okay? So we are having b minus 2a x squared. Then you're having these two terms with x. So I'm going to write it like c minus 2b x and then minus 2c. So we are going to compare them. So this is what you are comparing with this thing that you have here. Okay, so first term ax cube, and this is a 2x cube. So ax cube if equal to 2x cube, we can clearly say that a is 2. Okay, so the first one I got. Second one, okay, before equating, you can directly actually, but let's do the easier one first. The last term, the first and the last term, right? So first is done, the last term is 42, and in here it is minus 2c. So what we can get is that the value for c is going to be a negative 21. Now your aim is just to find the value of b. We can use this term. So 7x squared is actually equal to the square term here, b minus 2ax squared, right? So I can cancel the x squared both the sides. What we are getting then is actually 7 equal to b minus 2 times of a, and a is 2. So 2 times 2 is a 4. Now b is going to be 7 plus 4, and that is 11, right? So that's how we get. Now we got the values for a, b, and c. You replace them back in the equation. Okay, so we replace them back into our quadratic, and that's how it would look like. So x minus 2, this is what we already had. Now ax squared plus bx plus c. So ax squared plus bx plus c. Now c is a negative 21, so that's how you're going to write it. Now if you can see, this portion is same as the one we got here. So you simply have to put it into complete factors after this using your calculator, the same way as we did it before, right? So this is how it would look like. Clear? So these are the two methods side by side. You can use either of them to solve a question that looks like this. I hope this one is clear. You can ask your doubts in the comments. Now this side is division, long division, and I think the overall solution is easier to find this way, but some of you can find it easier to do the comparing coefficients. Now this method has like least chance of any mistake occurring in your working, right? So the choice is yours, either of the methods, but sometimes they exactly mention in the question that use this or use this one. All right.